relatively soft target. On May 7, 1941, a Royal Navy task force surrounds the München, a secret German weather boat. The Germans throw their Enigma machine overboard, but the British manage to grab the list of Enigma keys for the month of June. The countdown begins. Allies must capture an Enigma machine within a month, or the keys will be worthless. They don't have to wait long. The very next day, the British capture a German naval Enigma machine on the submarine U-110. Along with another U-boat, it is about to attack an Atlantic convoy. But the corvette HMS Aubritia spots the periscope of U-110 and attacks with depth charges. The submarine avoids a direct hit, but its rudder and motors are damaged, and the U-boat bobs to the surface. Two British destroyers, Bulldog and Broadway, set course to ram the submarine. There is no time to scuttle her. The U-boat captain orders an immediate evacuation. The radio operator is unable to destroy the Enigma machine and its all-important codebooks. David Baum is one of the British boarding party.
I went on board and led the party along the How with our revolvers out. And this coding machine, seems amazing now, was just secured to a wooden table with 4 ordinary screws. So he undid the 4 screws and we passed it up. And fortunately, it wasn't dropped in the water.
The machine is sent back to Bletchley Park. There, codebreakers use the daily codes to break the secret messages. Convoys can now avoid the wolf packs entirely. In July, U-boats destroy just 17 Allied ships, a dramatic decline from the monthly average of 58. Admiral Dönitz is puzzled by this sudden failure to locate British convoys. The British are also aided by a new submarine detecting device, centimetric radar. Unlike ASDIC, it can detect U-boats on the surface. For the Allies, it is a vital technical leap forward. But Britain's victory in the intelligence war lasts just 6 months. Suspecting a security leak, Dönitz adds an extra encoding wheel to the Navy's Enigma machine. The British success comes to a sudden halt. Germany has effectively stopped its intelligence leak, and the destruction of Allied shipping escalates once again. For the next 9 months, the Royal Navy operates in the dark. When Germany strikes back with its own intelligence coup, the situation grows even bleaker. The Royal Navy had introduced a new secret code in October 1941, Naval Cipher 3. But just 6 months later, German intelligence breaks the cipher. U-boats now know exactly where Allied convoys are. The results are catastrophic. It takes 5 months for codebreakers at Bletchley Park to discover that the Germans have broken the code. This is immediately reported to the Admiralty's Operational Intelligence Center. But in a shocking intelligence failure, the Royal Navy does not change its code for another 10 months. The delay is criminal. In 1942, over 1,000 Allied ships are sunk, and at least 10,000 seamen are killed. The horror continues into 1943. In March alone, 120 ships are destroyed, one of the worst monthly losses in the war. The blame for failing to change the Royal Naval Code lies at the door of the Admiralty. Some of it is now believed to be due to simple incompetence and a bureaucratic reluctance to spend money on printing new codes. It is also believed, however, that senior Royal Navy officers were reluctant to trust information coming from Bletchley Park because the codebreakers would not fully disclose the source of their intelligence. Whatever the reason, thousands of Allied lives are lost, while U-boat captains maintain a tremendous advantage. Most Royal Navy captains are not even aware of the snafu until after the war is over. The bloody stakes of victory are raised even higher. Enemy subs know where convoys will be before they themselves know. Early detection and better coordination between ships and aircraft is their only defense. As the Allied High Command struggles to keep its merchant fleet alive, the wolf packs are gathering. And Nazi engineers work round the clock building bigger and better subs, using ingenuity beyond anything the Allies had ever seen. The Battle of the Atlantic. Nazi wolf packs roam in underwater groups, tracking and stalking their targets before launching deadly attacks. Successful U-boat commanders like Gunter Prien become known as aces, just like their pilot counterparts. These commanders become household names in Nazi Germany, heroes known as Knights of the Deep. Otto Kretschmer, another U-boat captain, perfects a special technique. A single torpedo is used to sink his victims. He attacks from the windward side of a convoy. There, the ship's lookouts are battered by wind and spray, their visibility compromised. Kretschmer becomes Germany's top ace, with 44 kills to his name and a total of 250,000 tons of shipping destroyed. But his moment of glory comes to an end. In March 1941, he is captured after his submarine is sunk during an attack on convoy HX-112. Kretschmer remembers his moment of surrender.
When the destroyer stopped firing, I had some time to collect all my men on the conning tower and tell them that this was the end of our war career, and that there was some possibility of us to get into captivity. My second lieutenant took the Morse lamp, and I spelled out the signal in English to him. It was, "I am sinking, please pick up my men."
Life on board a U-boat is cramped at best. Temperatures reach well over 100 degrees. Only the commander and the cook have their own bunks. The rest share a bunk with someone on the other watch. There is one consolation. The quality of U-boat rations is high. Each crew member enjoys food which many civilians never see. But Peter Kramer remembers how on a long voyage, even those ran out.
The food was normally after 10 days, 10 food. And we had the wish that every week everybody could choose what they want. It was always the same. But you could do in the sauce with milk, and otherwise without milk. So it was not a big change, but it was a change. It was, of course, difficulty because when we had tins, and when a submarine was for a long hours under the water, we had pressure in the boat, and when it comes out, the tins were exploding like machine guns.
During the first 3 years of the war, U-boats patrol worldwide, even appearing in Asian waters. Supply submarines, called milch cows, help them refuel far from home. They also supply the U-boats with crates of food. Because there is no air reconnaissance, these long-range subs are provided with an ingenious device for improving their vision. Many carry small autogyros on board. Attached to the submarines by cable, they are kept airborne like a kite. From the height of 400 feet, they increase a submarine's vision from 5 miles at sea level to nearly 30 miles. At the time, the Allies have no idea this technology even existed. By late 1941, the number of U-boats prowling the seas has skyrocketed. And soon, they will pursue a new prey. In December, America enters the war. Her merchant ships become easy targets for U-boats off the East Coast. But Americans living along the eastern seaboard don't take the threat seriously. Due to a lack of escort ships, U.S. Fleet Commander Admiral Ernest King refuses to use the strategy of convoys. The range of Allied air cover continues to be restricted. The Black Gap is still ruthlessly exploited by the Sea Wolves. German submarines enjoy a second period of victory, sinking vast numbers of American boats. In 1942, nearly 500 merchant ships are sunk. Now, every voyage across the Atlantic is a gut check for Allied crewmen. The situation is critical. Allies cannot produce enough shipping to keep up with the losses. But in December 1942, the codebreakers at Bletchley Park finally break the Triton code used by the U-boat's Enigma machines. Once more, the Allies have a window on U-boat movements. But in early 1943, this seems to have little effect. In the first 3 weeks of March, German U-boats sink 72 ships, 60 of them in Royal Navy protected convoys. German radio broadcasts boast it is the greatest convoy battle of all time, and that only one Nazi submarine has been lost. The British Admiralty later declares, the Germans never came so near to disrupting communication between the New World and the Old as in the first 20 days of March 1943. But without the convoys, losses would be worse. And other developments will help the Allied cause. The Royal Navy has slowly improved its ability to detect U-boats and destroy them. And 3 new escort aircraft carriers arrive in the Atlantic in April, ramping up Allied air power at sea. This air support will provide desperately needed muscle in the battle for the Atlantic. While convoys sail on, they race to attack and fight the U-boats. Escort ships are also armed with new weapons, like the Hedgehog, that hurls 24 bombs in an oval pattern. U-boats are now trapped in a terrifying ring of fire. Key breakthroughs are also made in submarine detection. Centimetric radar, first introduced in May 1941, is perfected by early 1943.